Everyone wants to start a profitable and innovative business, but in order to do so, you must first choose the right market and industry to invest in. If you can strategize and tap into the vast market that exists on the continent, Africa is a highly resourceful continent with a high rate of return on investment. Given that it has a population of nearly 1 billion people, your market cannot grow any larger than it already is. The problem that many people face, on the other hand, is determining the best African business idea to invest in. It may be more difficult for those unfamiliar with the African market to invest in. But one thing is certain: the continent has a vast array of opportunities to offer potential investors and marketers. According to Forbes magazine, the majority of the new billionaires in recent years have been young entrepreneurs and investors who have built promising businesses and invested in lucrative sectors of Africa's rapidly growing economies. Africa is rapidly developing, and foreign investors understand that there is a lot of money to be made on the continent. Many foreigners from the Middle East, India, and the United States are looking for unique problems to solve and methods to achieve this goal. Because of the continent's growing population, new and innovative products and services are capturing global attention and attracting millions of dollars in investment from both domestic and international businesses. According to Forbes, these are the most recent trends in African entrepreneurship. There are many businesses in Africa, but our top 10 today are the ones that stand out to us the most. Traditional sources of business opportunities in Africa have been exploited for several decades. However, things have changed, and there are numerous new and unconventional opportunities available. Welcome to ThinkRich Media, the community which brings to you entrepreneurial, business, and personal development content to inform, motivate, and inspire you. If you aren't subscribed to our community, you're missing out. We've also made a ton of African content on this channel because we strongly believe Africa is the future. So if you're African and you're watching this, be sure to subscribe to our channel and do check out our other videos. Number 10. African films and music. With a population of over 1 billion people, 60% of whom are under the age of 25, Africa is ready for the development of its local film and music industries. The four most promising business opportunities in this industry are financing, production, distribution, and exhibition of motion pictures and music. Africa has the world's most understaffed cinema market, with less than one cinema for every 1 million people. The growing popularity of African music in the Western world is generating millions of dollars for those involved in the music industry. Number 9. Virtual education. Virtual education is becoming more popular in Africa as academic inflation rises across the continent. Africans in the labor market are pursuing higher or specialized academic degrees, diplomas, and certifications in order to improve their competitiveness for job opportunities and increase their chances of employment, promotion, and career advancement. As a result, the demand for high-quality education in Africa has increased and evolved significantly. For more than 40 years, the supply side has remained essentially unchanged. University campuses on the continent are no longer able to keep up with the current growth and sophistication of higher education demand. People want flexible options that allow them to work, learn, and earn, all at the same time. Africa's higher education system is ripe for disruption, but only a few entrepreneurs, investors, and other stakeholders are leading the charge to change it. The African Virtual University is a forerunner in higher education on the continent, challenging the conventional model. Through its platforms, the intergovernmental organization has already trained 43,000 students in collaboration with universities both within and outside of Africa. According to the International Business Times, the expansion of virtual education will be one of the most interesting business opportunities in Africa to watch in the coming years. Number 8. African fashion and clothing. Africa is home to a wide variety of cultures, each with its own set of clothing. This confluence of factors has the potential to have a world-class impact on the African fashion industry, thereby boosting the local economy. The fashion industry is worth $2.5 trillion globally, but Africa owns only a small portion of it. A vast and complex global chain connects cotton, silk, and other natural fiber producers to textile and apparel manufacturing facilities, spanning from farms that grow cotton, silk, and other natural fibers to textile and apparel manufacturing facilities that transform the textile into apparel. As labor costs in China and Asia continue to rise, factories are being forced to seek alternatives in Africa, where labor is cheap. Several clothing companies, including Primax, have already established operations on the continent. Primax is now acquiring materials from African vendors. Furthermore, specialized apparel producers such as Rwanda's C&H Garment Factory produce uniforms and safety vests that are exported to the United States of America. The African Development Bank, on the other hand, predicts that Africa's fashion industry will be worth $15.5 billion over the next 5 years. As a result, it is a very promising industry. Number 7. Low-cost housing. Africa has a high rate of rural to urban migration, which is a problem. It is predicted that by 2030, up to half of the continent's population will be concentrated in urban and metropolitan areas. While urbanization is a positive trend, the larger question is where all of these people will live. Furthermore, even if the government tried, it would be unable to build enough homes quickly enough to meet the high demand for housing. Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, is estimated to have a housing shortage of 20 million homes. Africa's housing crisis opens up a slew of new opportunities for a wide range of industries, from cement manufacturing and furniture manufacturing to building contractors and mortgage financing. A group of entrepreneurs in Kenya is repurposing shipping containers to create amazing, innovative residential and office space at a fraction of the cost of traditional housing. In South Africa, the same thing happened. As a result of these alternatives, the cost of building houses has decreased significantly, making them more affordable to the general public. The most significant opportunities will arise from the provision of affordable housing on a large scale. Number 6. Real estate. This is a type of property that includes land and structures, as well as natural resources such as crops, minerals, and other natural resources. Africa's real estate market is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity, and as the market expands, the continent will produce a slew of new millionaires. Projects for real estate development are sprouting up in almost every corner of the continent. Hotel and office buildings, as well as residential homes and apartments, and a shopping mall, are among the most visible landmarks. Among the most important real estate markets on the global investors' agenda are Angola, Nigeria, Egypt, Mozambique, South Africa, and Kenya. All of these countries are experiencing a real estate boom on a never-before-seen scale. The primary drivers of demand for commercial and residential real estate in Africa, as well as in other developing countries, are large and youthful populations, an expanding middle class, increasing urbanization, and the influx of multinational corporations. Residential, office, retail, industrial, and hospitality facilities are all in short supply across the real estate market, presenting an opportunity for investors and developers to capitalize on these underserved needs and reap the benefits. Number 5. Renewable energy. According to World Bank research, only 1 out of every 3 people in sub-Saharan Africa has access to electricity, and this is an optimistic estimate. The most common sources of energy for cooking are still firewood and charcoal, putting the continent's rapidly depleting forest resources at risk. Companies such as Off-Grid Electricity and others are illuminating the continent by utilizing solar energy and water to provide low-cost electricity to households without access to electricity grids. According to Forbes magazine, solar energy is currently one of the most appealing businesses in Africa. This is due to the high demand for off-grid solar solutions, which represents a sizable potential market. A total of 600 million Africans are tired of waiting for electricity from a centrally managed power grid that is both inefficient and inflexible in the face of the continent's increasing energy demands. Many parts of Africa get about 300 days of sunlight per year. In this environment, the value proposition of a product that does not rely on the central power grid and meets your energy needs directly from the sun, a free energy source, becomes increasingly difficult to compete with. As a result, the African solar energy market is booming. In Togo, for example, the government and a solar system developer, Bbox, have agreed to a $4 million partnership to provide off-grid solar power systems to 300,000 homes. This is a company that will prosper in the future. Number 4. Financial technology. Fintech, also known as financial technology, is a burgeoning economic sector comprising businesses that use technology to improve the efficiency of financial services. The agro-processing industry is one of Africa's newest and fastest-growing emerging industries. It refers to the use of technology in banking and finance to support and enable the provision of financial services by making them easier, faster, and more affordable. In order to meet Africa's growing demand for financial services are extremely scarce on the African continent. In most cases, only about 1 out of every 5 adults has a bank account, and the vast majority of transactions are still done by hand. However, since the revolution of services like mobile money solutions, which has transformed financial services, A slew of fintech products and services have sprung up all over the continent, including in Africa. In 2019, African fintech startups received a total of $284.6 million in funding from investors. Through the use of mobile phones and the internet, fintech entrepreneurs across the continent are enabling financial inclusion and unlocking significant market opportunities in the financial services industry. The African fintech industry is expected to grow by at least $40 billion over the next 3 years and contribute up to $150 billion to the continent's GDP. Because of the enormous market potential, investors are clamoring to invest in Africa's fintech industry. As long as Africa's fintech fever continues to erupt, attracting both local and international investors, the industry will undoubtedly remain one of the continent's most profitable businesses. Number 3. Digital healthcare. The most valuable possession, as the adage goes, is one's health. With the increase in health crises, particularly as a result of the pandemic that has afflicted the world, there is a greater demand for medical personnel all over the world, particularly in Africa, which is known for its low living standards. In some countries, such as Ethiopia, one doctor is assigned to every 20,000 patients. Africa's healthcare facilities are stagnant and paralyzed, but there is reason to be optimistic because entrepreneurs across the continent are looking into these issues. This will be accomplished by creating digital and innovative healthcare solutions. Some of the innovations, such as e-prescription and other health apps, are assisting in relieving pressure on overburdened health facilities by shifting attention away from non-life-threatening conditions and toward those in need of immediate attention. Number 2. Crowd farming. Farming is a big business all over the world, and most farmers are wealthy, but Africa remains technologically backward. The African business sector is expected to be worth $1 trillion by 2030, according to the United Nations. This estimate is not impossible given Africa's large domestic market, ownership of 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land, abundant labor resources, and favorable climate in the majority of its regions. It's mind-boggling to learn that Africans spend roughly $30 billion per year on food imports. This is because the majority of food is produced by small-scale farmers in rural areas. The majority of poor people rely on traditional farming methods because they have little or no access to capital. But what if city dwellers pool their resources and invest in these rural farmers with a cut of the profits coming in at harvest time? Isn't it true that it would boost output, lower the continent's import bill, and generate more revenue for both investors and farmers? This business model is known as crowd farming, and it has the potential to completely change the face of agriculture in Africa. In Nigeria, for example, there are 2 crowd farming platforms that allow working-class Nigerians to crowdfund farming projects and earn returns when the crops are ready to harvest. The same thing happens all the time in Somalia and South Africa. African business opportunities in agribusiness are very likely to produce a league of millionaires in the coming years as the continent's population doubles. Number 1. Food processing. Every year, Africa imports billions of dollars in food and non-food items. What else can be exported besides local commodities like crude oil, cocoa, coffee, and minerals? And what else can be exported? There are numerous locally produced goods on the continent that have the potential to become global brands. The issue is that we tend to underestimate their significance. Recently, some Ghanaian entrepreneurs were successful in transforming local African products into global brands by producing organic chocolate from cocoa beans. Export investors contributed approximately €50,000 to the company's funding in 2018. Africa has a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to build strong product brands capable of commanding premium prices from international customers. The increased value of cocoa and coffee beans will result in the creation of thousands of jobs, as well as the establishment and support of small businesses. In contrast, chocolate and coffee are only the beginning of a much larger set of emerging business opportunities in the field of value-added food. Food processing and marketing are the most pressing issues confronting Africa, not food production. Waste will be reduced, and the continent's reliance on imported food will be reduced if Africa processes more of its produce. Finally, we've arrived at a decision. These are the top 10 African industries that will create more millionaires in the near future. Entrepreneurship, rather than global pity, is now widely acknowledged as the key to Africa's transformation. Do you have any other ideas for igniting new business opportunities that we haven't mentioned? Please leave your feedback in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.